the way she walks, the way she talks, or the way she loves me. Just look at me, I'm like a monkey in a coconut tree. You know I'm overjoyed, 'cause boy, oh boy, she's my gal.
Hey guys, welcome back. So this is episode 3, and this is actually the first episode of my new rebrand, which is Morgue with Morg. I used to be known as Philly Horror Gal. My first 2 episodes were Philly Horror Gal, but I just kept the 2 episodes because people were still downloading them, surprisingly. And I was like, if they're good, let them be. I am just going to start off episode 3. It's been like I think it's been 2 years since I recorded my last episode, which is insane. It's been so long, and I just been having dealing with life and all the things in between. And so I'm finally able to get back at a place where I can sit down and record for you guys. And I wanted the episodes to be amazing, something you'll gain insight from. It's entertaining, it's spooky, it's dark, mysterious, and obviously the vibes are gonna remain the same. I am gonna be still doing paranormal, true crime, and horror. I just felt like Philly Horror Gal, it was a cool name and it did stand out, but I felt not really connected to it. I am from Philly, I do love horror, but I was just I don't know. I don't really say gal. Gal, that's a southern thing. And I didn't want to say girl. It just sounded weird. So my whole life, my name's Morgan, obviously. So I have been called Morgue my whole life, even as a little kid. And when I was a little kid, it traumatized me because I thought of the morgue where people go when they die. So now it kind of has a cool twist to my name. So I was we need to do something with that, especially because I do talk a lot about the afterlife on here. I am going to be getting into a lot of true crime. They pretty much almost tie in together. Not necessarily saying if you like true crime, you like paranormal, but I do feel they are cousins. So yeah, if you guys like true crime, horror, paranormal, that's going to be all on my podcast as well as my YouTube channel. So yeah, I really can't wait. I have a lot of episodes lined up. I've been trying to gather. So you know what I'm saying? I'm really excited. But yeah, welcome back, my spooky babes. This is Morgue with Morg, where the vibes are dark, the stories are questionable, and Today is actually a really interesting topic, asking a very important question. Who looked at a dead body and actually had said, let's make a whole building for this? You know what I'm saying? Not even trying to be funny, but who started that? You know what I'm saying? Who started morgues, right? So I figured in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how morgues came about, how the whole idea arised, and the very interesting yet very dark things that people would do back in the day. I don't even know how to word it. It's I was reading up on this and I'm just they used to do that, and people were sometimes still alive when they buried them. What? Yeah, so we're going to get into that in today's episode. And I figured it would be a great, starting point because that's the name of, the channel, and the podcast is Morgue with Morg. So why not know where morgues actually, how they came about? Right? You know what I mean? So yeah, today we're just going to be diving into dark, strange, and honestly slightly unsettling history of morgues. So if you guys love all of that, keep watching. Definitely comment, share. If you're watching on YouTube, all the things. If you're listening to this, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment review section, and send it to a friend if they're into this type of stuff, because that is exactly what this whole channel is. Just spooky, creepy, unsettling, mysterious vibes. And it's funny because this is like the dark side of me. Like, I do love true crime. I get all into that in I believe it's the first episode of my podcast, which I talked about like where the lore came from and like why I'm so obsessed with paranormal and true crime. So, I mean, this definitely, I don't even really know what to say. This is one that you just, I can't even, like, the more you dig deep into, like, the past and things and how things came about, you're like, what? Before Morgues, before, you know, the building came to be where that was the last place you went, before they actually buried you, where, like, what were people doing prior to that? You know what I'm saying? So before the morgues existed, people just kept bodies. That's how we're starting this video. Sorry if I laugh. I know these like topics can be gruesome. And if I'm laughing, it's just a nervous laugh. Like, it's just because like I actually read that. Like, what? But yeah, they would keep bodies in their homes, in the streets. What? And I'm sorry, excuse me? What? You kept them in your home? Like, what did you just put them in like the attic and called it a day, or your crawl space, and you were just like, okay, like Aunt Sue, Mary, Liz, Joanna, they're all downstairs, like in the crawl space, Uncle Ed, like, that's absolutely creepy. Really cool fact. Not completely off topic, but they say if you own a home and you have land and you have like relatives like buried there, it's considered a cemetery. And I believe it's like a tax write-off or some type of tax situation. And then, so then your like home's then labeled like a cemetery. I don't know like the full details of that. That'd be actually a cool episode to do, because there's people that do that. But I'm wondering if that was like, so essentially your home was the cemetery. So before morgues existed, I'm assuming you just went in like your backyard somewhere. Like that's where they essentially would bury you. And they said the streets too, which is like you literally just walking by and see dead people. Like that's horrifying. But okay. So yeah, there was no refrigeration. There was no system. There was no organization. Just bad vibes, essentially. Like imagine walking past someone and just, oh, there's a body right there. I mean, not to take light of people who have drug addictions, because that's a serious thing, but like if you go to Kensington right now, it looks like that. Like there's just people that are like high out on the ground. You don't know if they're dead or not, which is really sad. And I mean, that's what I feel like this time would feel like, essentially. I mean, maybe not as bad as Kensington, but I feel like you're just passing by the street and you just see like someone on the ground and you're like, yep, there's another one. Like, what? As I'm just, trying to drink my coffee and have a nice morning, or whatever they used to do back in that time. It probably wasn't coffee. I don't know. Whatever they drank back then. We'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, like just imagine like you're just walking past with your friend and you see a dead body on the ground. And I guess that was just normal to them. So I would be like, no, thank you. I need to move. Like, I am not trying to be looking at dead people on the ground. So, okay, this is kind of where I thought the story got interesting, because this is where people during this time, the biggest fear at that time was being buried alive. Like, we're not talking like they actually were dead and they were buried and that was it, or in their grandmom's backyard, wherever they used to bury people back then. They actually were like, this was like a fear. And it's where this gets crazier. Yeah, people were terrified of being buried alive because medicine back then, not exactly accurate. So sometimes people were declared dead when they actually were not dead. And I'm sorry, what do you mean? Like, that is my worst nightmare, I would think, as of today. Like, if, I was declared dead, but I really wasn't. So, like, imagine just waking up and it's dark. You can't move. Yeah, no. I would haunt everyone involved. Literally everybody. All of you guys are getting haunted at this point, respectfully. Okay? So because of this fear, they invented something called safety coffins. So I actually kind of would be curious to know, like, the first person who was buried alive that wasn't in a safety coffin, like, I guess they just died eventually. But then, like, how did you know? Like, no, like, they had to have lived to tell the tale, right? Can you imagine? I would love to, that would be, wait, I would love to interview someone that's been buried alive. No, but seriously, like, can you imagine? Like, that's absolutely crazy. So yeah, safety coffin, which is exactly what it sounds like. These coffins would have bells attached. So if you woke up and you weren't deceased, right? You just woke up from a long nap or a deep comatose state, whatever. I don't even know how people back then just were like, yep, this person's dead. They didn't answer like 3 times. So we're going to just put them in the dirt. Okay. But yeah, imagine like that, right? That's like horrifying. But yeah, so they would make coffins with bells, and essentially if you woke up, you could ring this bell. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm actually done. So now we got people buried underground, ringing bells like, hello, ring, 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 not dead. Get me out of here. Ring, 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 right? So, and someone is supposed to hear that in the middle of the night. Absolutely not. No, that sounds like a horror movie, like a straight up horror film. So yeah, eventually, like, they actually would have people at night to listen out for bells. Like, can you like imagine? And then hear ring, 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 ring. Like, oh, Sue isn't really dead. We gotta get her out. She's not really dead. Oh, there's another bell. Oh, we got to get another person. They're not really dead. We got to go run and get them. Like, oh, God, Lord. But yeah, so now this is kind of where we're getting into the first morgue, right? Which I was like, I mean, so back then, like I said, before morgues existed, you literally were just thrown in the dirt. You might have been alive. You might have not have been alive. They weren't sure. Like I said, medicine wasn't really like up to par then. You know, the technology, you know, they just pronounced you dead if you didn't wake up. So just imagine, like I said, your uncle Steve or Uncle Ron were just sleeping really, really sound. And, you know, they, you know, tried, hey, wake up. And you didn't wake up. They're like, okay, I guess he's dead. He's going in the dirt. I mean, maybe it wasn't that extreme, but I don't really know. But yeah, so eventually people were like, okay, we need a better system here because this just isn't working. We are burying people that are still alive. It's, you know, the bells just aren't doing it. You know, let's think of something better, right? So one of the first official morgues was actually established in Paris, if you will, Paris. And get this, it was open to the public. Ah! What? This is like, when I was reading up on this, I was like, what in the hell? Like, I cannot. The public. People would actually go to this. Look at bodies like it was an attraction, like an art museum. Like they were just like, what do you want to do today? Let's go to the morgue and see the body exhibit or whatever they would call it. Like, I mean, there was a rational reason why they would do this, and then there was a unrational reason why they would do this. So they were called public viewings. So they actually would line bodies up like behind glass, and people would just walk by staring, you know. Oh, there's Earl from down the street. There's Rita from the bakery. There's, well, I'm saying like these people were French, so I don't know. Lumiere from, you know, the castle. Like, I don't freaking know. Like, literally just walking by, like, you know, we haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Well, there he is. That's why we haven't seen him. Yeah. So a lot of people would go to these to identify people that essentially were missing, or they were just wondering, like I said, Marie Antoinette from down the block. Let's go. All right. She's here. She's in the exhibit. So she's deceased, right? And then, people would just go because they were curious. Like, I mean, not gonna lie, I'd probably be one of those weirdos that's like, what the I actually don't know if I would do that. Like, I think that's so morbid. But like, I guess back then it was just normal, to just go to these like public viewings, and like it was just no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. But yeah, some people would literally just go for entertainment. I'm sorry, this is giving morbid curiosity vibes, because they were like treating it like a field trip, essentially. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, hey guys, want to go look at dead people today? Come on. We'll go. It'll be fun. It was like the real, like, how like they have haunted attractions nowadays where people jump out and scare you, and there's like, creepy decorations and stuff. Like, this essentially, I guess, was where that all ran from. They're like, okay, well, we can't use real people nowadays, so we'll use props. But yeah, like, no thank you. All right, so now getting into the refrigeration era. Excuse me. Eventually, they introduced refrigeration, which, I'm going to be honest, thank God for that. Because before that, can you imagine the smell? I can't do it. We're not even going to get into that. But this is when morgues started becoming more like we know them today. Organized, control, less chaotic. Just not, we could like, they're pronounced dead. They're just in a deep sleep. Bells, smell, putting in the crawl space, having them on exhibit for fun to see if, you were just curious about where your baker went, or your whoever, your auntie, your grandma, whoever, like, okay. So here's something interesting. Morgues didn't just change how we handled death. They changed how we see death. It became more hidden, which it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't have like this out on display like it's a circus show, right? Like, these are people who are deceased. Like, these are people who, like, we give them some respect, like you're putting them on display like they're an art show. That's just fucking weird, right? However, it became more clinical, more distant, and honestly, that's probably why we are so uncomfortable with it now, essentially, right? Like, because it does feel like mysterious, and what goes on now, like in the morgues, which I might get into that in a whole other episode. But like I said, for now, this was just how morgues came to be, why we created them, and whatnot. So why morgues feel creepy? Because let's be real, there's something about morgues that just feels off. The silence, the cold, the idea of what's inside, and even if nothing is happening, your brain is still like, yeah, but what if it is, And I'm sorry, I don't need that kind of stress in my life. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, me personally, if I ever had to be in a morgue alone, I'm talking to myself the entire time. Everything's fine. Nobody's moving. We're good. Because the second I hear something, I'm gone. I'm out. I actually wanted to go investigate like a real morgue. Like, I thought that would be interesting. I don't know like how I would do that. I've seen people on YouTube do it, but I'm guessing you have to like know somebody or get obviously some crazy permissions to do that. But yeah, that would be pretty interesting. But yeah, today morgues are professional, they're respectful, they're necessary. They help identify people to solve crimes and bring closure to families. But the history behind them is very dark, strange, and honestly a little unhinged. So now I need to know, did you already know any of this? Or are you sitting there like, yeah, I'm never thinking about coffins the same again, because I'm definitely side-eyeing everything now. Okay, yeah, so if you made it this far, you're officially one of my little spooky besties, my little morgues, if you will. This is Morgue with Morg. And babe, if you hear a bell tonight, you didn't hear it, okay? You didn't hear it at all. So let me know your thoughts about this episode. I can't wait to dive into the next episode. I really want to do a series on morgues. I would like to get maybe a little more in depth, but I do think that the history of it's just crazy, right? Like, who thought, like, let's just, I mean, a smart person thought that. A smart person thought that. Not just like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just keep dead people just under the crawl space and in the field or, wherever. Like, I think it has come a long way. Technology's come a long way, with all the things that we have to identify a person. And like I said, back then they did that, like, public viewing, essentially, because there was no such thing as like identification. There was no such thing as, like I said, like, if I guess unless you were somebody famous back then, they didn't know who you were, and they were like, all right, we found another one, put them in the wall or behind the glass, we'll have someone claim them. And I mean, I think that's really sad when you think about it. Like, it's weird, but it's also sad too. Because imagine, like, if you lived by yourself or didn't have family, like, what were you, just in behind the glass for ever? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or months, until they were just like, all right, no one claimed this person, let's move on. Like, it's, like a piece of, like, food on, like, if you're going to a supermarket, like, all right, it's expired, let's move along. Like, I don't know, it's just definitely crazy. But let me know your thoughts on this. If you guys have any more intake on how morgues came to be, definitely, like, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And this was a shorter episode, but I'm trying to, like, ease my way back into doing podcast episodes for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Have you seen my baby? She's not a dame nor a lady. Not in the way she walks, the way she talks, or the way she loves me. Just look at me. I'm like a monkey in a coconut tree. I'm overjoyed, 'cause boy, oh boy, she's my cat.